What's happening, family? Listen, I want to tell y'all a story about this bed real quick and just how trifling and manipulative the narcissist can be, especially towards the end when that discard is coming and they have new supply lined up, but they want to keep you on the hook. That's basically what this video is about right here. I'm gonna do the video in two parts because I don't want to bore y'all to death and have the camera on the bed the whole time. So I'm gonna stop the video and then I'm gonna come back and chop it up with y'all. So I'll be back in a minute. What's happening, y'all? Listen, I wanted to chop it up with y'all real quick and just explain that whole bed situation. So everybody that knows my situation knows that I was discarded literally the day after I found out that she was pregnant. Obviously, she already knew that she was pregnant, but by the time that she told me, she was already basically set up for the discard. So that's what she did. She got pregnant, and then the day after she found out that she was pregnant, she, her whole vibe towards her, she was sweet as pie all the way up until the day she got pregnant. The day after she got pregnant, that light switch just went off and she just went completely like, I don't need no nigga, I don't need to be with you. Out of nowhere. It wasn't no beef, wasn't no static. We wasn't, it wasn't really even no friction behind having a baby. I was a little disappointed because of how things happened, because she had basically been telling me that, she wasn't going out of her way to get pregnant. I knew for a fact that she did go out of her way to get pregnant. And because of how she moved at that, like in that stage, I knew that it was a lot of immaturity in what she was doing. I didn't know what MPD was at that time, but I knew that how she was moving wasn't right. And we too old for that, we too grown for that. So when she started moving funny, I didn't chase her. I just locked into what I was doing. I locked into my work. I locked into my nonprofit organization. Anybody that wants to look us up, man, I'm the CEO of Relentless Society Foundation. You can check us out, www.relentlesssociety.org. COVID kind of really slowed us down, and this whole situation with the narcissist, it really put a damper on my situation as far as, I was really in the building process of my nonprofit organization, and I was, running a clothing line at the same time for the same organization, but the clothing line was kind of taking off at that time, and basically COVID hit, and then my father died, then the discard came, and then COVID hit right behind it. So it was like back to back to back, just blows that we took. And so far, I've been kind of just trying to get back on our feet and recover from that since, we took all of those blows back to back. So, anybody that wants to show love and support, man, we definitely have a lot of opportunity for y'all to get involved. I'm trying to get, the world involved into it. We have a pretty strong following here in the DMV. So like I said, y'all can check us out. We are on Instagram, Facebook, have a website, all of that kind of stuff. And if y'all would like to donate and help us build, and if y'all, and if not, y'all want to just buy some clothes and y'all see something fly, sweatsuit or a hoodie or something, man, y'all want to support that way, much love and appreciation to all of y'all, man, because we were really doing a lot of great things in the community, and things got kind of slowed down because of all of those blows back to back that I took personally. And then not only that, we had COVID, nationally, worldwide, we had COVID going on. So that kind of slowed everything down and just, like I said, dampened our momentum at that time. So we were really in the process of really building and growing, and we were seeing a lot of progress at that time. But it just, things happen in life, and sometimes you have to readjust and reevaluate, and sometimes it's necessary. So I look at things and I try to look for the positive in all of it, even though we had to slow down. Maybe it was some things that I needed to reevaluate and how I was operating at that time and all of that kind of stuff. So I look at everything as a blessing. So, and then on top of that, I was always looking for a way to get it out there to the world in a different way. And me creating a channel allowed me to tap into a much bigger market even for the nonprofit organization, you know what I'm saying? So I just, like I said, I look at everything as a blessing. Everything happens for a reason. It's a reason that I was led to you guys on the channel and all of that kind of stuff. But like I said, I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into what happened with that bed situation. So what ended up happening was the disc guard came, she rolled out, and I was pretty much stuck trying to figure out what was going on. But I always had really good intuition. I was always able to read body language. I've always been able to kind of read and see, you know, I've always had like a sense behind me that let me know something's not right. So of course, I always felt that uneasy feeling dealing with her the entire time. Now, those are the red flags that we overlook. And I can admit that during that relationship or during that friendship or whatever we want to call it, I definitely overlooked a lot of the red flags that was going on because we grew up together, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to believe in the fairy tale of, you know, two people that grew up together can come back together in real life and actually, you know, fall in love and have a decent relationship and live happily ever after. I actually wanted to believe in that, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the ways that I got caught up into the situation, because I actually wanted to believe in that fairy tale, because I had been through so many hard things in my life that I was like, man, you know, something has to work out in my favor at some point, you know what I'm saying? So, and I thought that, you know, when her and I got together, of course, as they're mirroring you and they're giving you your same energy right back, you feel like it's something positive going on. So I felt like it was a positive build of us being able to come back, you know, come together in adulthood and, you know, actually have a chance at least trying to be happy for the rest of our lives or whatever the case may be. So anyway, the disc guard came, she got pregnant, the disc guard came, and once the disc guard came, I just had this inkling that she was obviously already dealing with somebody else. And I was seeing that, I'm thinking to myself, like, if she is, that's extremely trifling, because she just literally told me she was pregnant with my son. So, like I said, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt at that time. So I'm thinking maybe it's some hormonal stuff going on. Maybe it's some, you know, stress of having a baby and all of that kind of stuff. So I didn't chase her when she started to pull a disappearing act. I didn't go chasing her. I didn't try to hunt her down and try to figure out what was going on. I let her do her, and basically in her doing her, she kept telling on herself. And basically that's what I was trying to get y'all to, you know, the narcissist will eventually tell on themselves. You don't always have to go digging. You don't always, like, I literally, when she started playing her games, I just fell back and I just sat back and watched how she moved. And not only did I watch how she moved, I watched how she interacted with me from that point on. So just me being able to, like, pick up on her body language, pick up on her vibes, I knew she was dealing with other guys while she was pregnant. And that started to disgust me, of course, but I couldn't prove it at that time. So of course, because I couldn't prove it, she's still pregnant with my child. So I'm like, listen, whatever's going on, whatever we are dealing with, I want to work it out, because we're having this child together. And even if we don't end up together, like in a relationship or anything, I just wanted to be good co-parents. And I thought that I could at least have that with her. You know what I'm saying? If nothing else, I felt like, if nothing else, we've been cool all this time. I felt like that we could at least be good co-parents to our child. So, you know, I was under that impression that that's how that was going to go. And that was totally not how it went. Totally left as soon as she got pregnant, and I was not expecting that. So of course emotionally I'm feeling it, but I'm not, I'm not letting her see that I'm feeling that. I'm still living my life. I'm still running a nonprofit at this time. I'm still going to work every day, even though my work is suffering because I had so many things on my mind dealing with that situation. Like but I just kept moving. I just kept like, okay, I got to lock in at work. And I was going through a lot. Like I said, I had lost my dad, COVID hit, and then she pulled the discard. Or actually, I lost my dad, she pulled the discard, and then COVID hit right behind that. So it was like back to back to back blows. And those blows slowed everything down, and I was trying to keep everything afloat. I was trying to keep my business life afloat. I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on with her. And I was trying to mourn the death of my father, which I had a lot of stuff tied into his death as well that I didn't really, I literally didn't even get a chance to mourn my father's death before she pulled her stunt. My father died April 2019. She pulled her stunt, or she got pregnant and pulled her stunt in May of 2019. So literally within a month of my father's passing, and I'm sorry, y'all, it's an airplane up here. So listen, literally after a month after my father's passing, she pulled her discard stunt, her first discard stunt. And when she pulled her stunt, like I said, I was emotionally drained at that point. I like they say, the narcissist is going to leave you when you're emotionally drained. Like, I didn't have anything left in the tank at that point except for to, try to keep my work life afloat and keep, because I got a mortgage to pay and all of that kind of stuff. So when the discard happened, when I started going through all of these things, man, I was suffering. Like I said, COVID hit, and it affected my work a little bit and all of that kind of stuff. So I ended up, facing some financial difficulties at that time. And then, like I said, mourning my father, and then dealing with the discard, and dealing with COVID, all of that kind of stuff, just back to back to back. And it really dampened my spirits. Like, I was struggling just to stay afloat at that point. But I still wanted, I was still trying to prepare my life for my son coming. Regardless of what she was going to do at that point, I knew I couldn't chase her. I knew I couldn't force her to do anything that she didn't want to do. And I tried to be there every step of the way. And obviously she didn't want me to be there throughout the whole pregnancy and all of that kind of stuff. She was already off to her next victim, and she was painting me as black. And because I'm black now, or because she, I'm all bad in her eyes now it's like, okay, well, she's setting her narrative up. So she's lying on me. She's lying to all her family members about me. The smear campaign had already started by that point. So once the smear campaign had started, she was trying to stay away from me because she knew that my authenticity would have ate through her smear campaign. You know what I'm saying? Like, people know when they around genuine good people, you know what I'm saying? So regardless of, and so she basically had to get way ahead of her smear campaign, because a lot of people knew her, and a lot of people knew me in that situation. And she tried to get me to react in a lot of bad ways, and I wouldn't really react in the ways that she wanted me to. So her trying to bait me to act up, her trying to bait me into a bad reaction, it wasn't really working the way that she thought it was. So her smear campaign was kind of weak because of the fact that it wasn't really nothing to stand on. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really anything that she could pinpoint back and say, see, he did this, or see, he did that. Because, I'm kind of low-key mild man, and I don't really, be all in people's, I stick to my business and I keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. So the fact that, she really didn't have a lot to pin on me. She didn't have a lot of dirt. It wasn't it wasn't any rumors like floating around of me cheating or anything like that. I wasn't, I was literally dating only her at that time. So it wasn't any of that. It wasn't any, abuse or anything. And like I said, she really couldn't say anything about me because she discarded me and I wasn't around her for the whole pregnancy. So, everything that she had to make up was lies, and it was stuff that, she's, basically trying to smear my name and smear my character in certain ways that that would have just, I guess, controlled her narrative, and basically that's what she tried to do during that period of time. But she was already off and dealing with her new supply and all of that kind of stuff. Now, when she started showing, she tried to pop back into the picture. When she started showing, she was probably literally about to have our son at this point. So I saw that she tried to come back into the picture, but her vibe was still off. Her vibe was still different. I could still tell that she had obviously been dealing with somebody else. And I could also tell that whatever we had was over. You know what I'm saying? Or, she was trying to destroy it, regardless of what I tried to do to fix it, regardless of whether I was accepting of the bad behavior or not, regardless of whether I was willing to overlook it or not. She just continued on in her mess. So once I realized that, I was kind of hesitant to bring her back into my life, as a partner at that time, because she had already done a lot of damage at that point, and I've mentioned it in a few other videos, but I'll tap into it in a few more videos. And if y'all want to check, the whole, I think I'm gonna do a separate video and do my whole story, because I've chopped it up in so many different videos that you guys kind of have bits and pieces of what happened all over the place. So I think I'm going to do a video just explaining the whole story and just telling, from beginning to end what happened. So that'll come at a later date or whatever. But basically what ended up happening, like, she was playing the back and forth game. She was obviously playing between me and her new supply, and she was kind of still trying to juggle us at that point. I picked up on it. I didn't know for sure what was happening still. I didn't understand MPD, but I knew that whatever she was doing was extremely immature, especially for us to be having a child. I knew that it wasn't healthy for us to be bringing a child into that mess. And I felt like the best thing for me to do was start to distance myself from her. So that's where the bed comes into play. So as I started kind of staying distant from her, like I said, she expected me to chase her when she disappeared originally. Like when she got pregnant and then discarded, she wanted me to chase her, and I just wouldn't chase her. Regardless, I had too much, I guess, self-respect, and I was like, nah, I'm not chasing you. Like, I've never had to chase you before. Me and you have been dealing with each other for off and on for almost 10 years now, and I've never had to chase you before. And now all of a sudden you get pregnant and you want me to chase you? Man, get the fuck out of here. So, you know what I'm saying? And basically that's where I was at with it. I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, now you're gonna start playing games. Now you're pregnant now, and now you're gonna start playing games. So I didn't realize she had been playing games the whole time. You know what I'm saying? I thought the games had just started once she got pregnant. So, so basically when she started playing those games, like I said, I wouldn't chase her, and because I wouldn't chase her, that wasn't allowing her to establish her smear campaign strong enough. So she tried to come back into the picture and make me the number two. And I guess she wanted to keep me as like a backup supply. So she came around and she basically, this is like, literally, she's big as a house, and she came over literally asking for sex. She wanted sex. She's, you know, that's all they really think about. So she came over, and I'm thinking about like our future with my child and this, that, and the third. And she's just like, hey, yeah, can we just do it? I think if we have sex, then, you know, maybe that'll help us get back together. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking to myself, like, that wasn't the reason that we fell apart. Sex was never the problem. Like, that wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, your stupidity is why we not together. Like, you know what I'm saying? If we not gonna correct that, then what the fuck are we doing? So basically, that's kind of where my head was at in that situation. And she was like, hey, can I just, come over, have sex, whatever. So of course, because I am fighting to keep my family alive, I'm trying to oblige at that point. So I'm like, sure, come on over. So we ended up having sex and all of that kind of stuff. And then what ended up happening was I had another bed. I had another bedroom set before that. And before she got pregnant, she had no problems with the bed set. But now she's been gone. She's been out of the loop. She's probably been off in the new supply, who probably has a new bed, and now she wants to match that fly. So she just all of a sudden started complaining about the bed that I had, which was perfectly fine. It literally was nothing wrong with the bed. It was almost a brand new bed, and it was like a double pillow top. I had paid really good money for that bed, and it was extremely comfortable and all of that kind of stuff. But she started using the pregnancy to manipulate the situation, talking about, well, my back hurts and my back this and my back that. I think we should just get a new bed. And the bed was basically her. I heard this from another self-aware narcissist that I had came across. I think his name is Leon Walker. And he basically explained that the narcissist will try to use an anchor gift. So when they about to discard you and they know they're going to discard you, they want to leave something in your house. They want to leave. So I had already did a video that she had left her old vehicle sitting in my driveway when she discarded. But in this particular situation, she went out and actually, she went out of her way and started complaining about the bedroom furniture that I had originally. And all of that was basically so she could go out of her way. So she complained and complained and complained. And then all of a sudden she was like, hey, I'm about to start looking for beds. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, for what? Because I'm like, we don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole lot of, we have a baby on the way, and that's not at the top of my priority list at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I was, my mindset was, that's not big on the priority list right now. And her mindset was, I need something to lock you into the situation even further. So she went out of her way, like I said, to complain about the bed and complaining about the bed, so that she could use her tax refund to buy a new bed. And so she ended up getting her tax refund and going out of her way and buying that brand new set that I just showed y'all. Now, two things about that. After she bought that bed is when I caught her in like the biggest lie that she had ever told. So she literally has only slept in that bed one time. And then the discard came from me at that point, because I caught her in several lies back to back to back. And then it was one huge lie that I haven't really discussed too much on the channel just yet. But it was like one really big lie that once I found out that she was lying about that, all of the other lies started unraveling and everything started kind of flooding at me. And I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Like, she been lying this whole time. So I just knew I had to cut her off completely at that point, regardless of whether we had a baby on the way, regardless of any of that kind of stuff. So basically, she went out of her way to buy that bed as an anchor gift. Number one, let me tell y'all what that do. She bought the bed to psychologically, she knew she was leaving. She knew she was already off to her new supply and all of that kind of stuff. So psychologically, her getting that bed is like, well, I know he's not going to have sex with no other woman because I bought that bed. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's in the narcissist's mind, they feel like, okay, I'm going to control him through the fact that I bought the bed. I'm going to control him through the fact that, you know what I'm saying? Like, she basically went out of her way. She wanted to leave something that I would have to remember her every single day. So what better way of like, well, he's got to remember me. He's sleeping in the bed that I bought every single night. You know what I'm saying? So and what's crazy about it is when she started talking about the bed, she was like, why you got a problem with me buying a bed? I mean, you know, because she, like I said, she had been complaining about the bed and her back hurting and all of that kind of stuff. And I kept turning it down because I'm like, no, we don't need that. Like, we good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a whole bedroom set. Everything's fine. And it's stuff that we could be getting for the baby. We can get the crib and we can get this for the baby and that for the baby. We can start worrying about the baby. Like, and she was like, no, I want to get this bedroom set. She was so adamant about this bedroom set. And I'm like, why? And we were kind of going back and forth about, should we get the set or should we not get the set? And I was leaning, of course, more towards not, because we had other stuff to take care of. And, you know, like I said, she kept pressing the issue like, no, we need to get this. We need to do it. We need to do it. And I'm like, why is she so pressed to get this bed? Why is she so pressed for me to, you know? And now I realize the whole reason that she was that pressed for me to get the bed was she knew she was leaving. She wanted to mentally manipulate me into, now I have something that reminds me of her every single night that I have to sleep in. And then if I have another woman in that bed, she wants me to feel guilty about having another woman in that bed, which I don't. If I was to have another woman in the bed or whatever the case may be, I'm actually trying to live my life a lot differently these days, especially after going through narcissistic abuse. But in her mind, she was trying to create a space where I would feel uncomfortable to even invite someone into that space, because that's something that she bought. That's something that she controlled. That's something that would tie me to thinking about her anytime that I even go to bed at night, that kind of thing. So it was like a real trifling reason behind why she did it. It wasn't, you know, she used the whole my back is killing me, my back hurts. All of that was manipulation. Her back was fine. She wasn't, her back was fine the whole time. She literally used that to lock that bed into the situation so that she could use that bed as an anchor gift. Like I said, the self-aware narcissist that I was watching, he literally, when he did the video explaining the anchor gift, that I immediately thought about the bed, and I was like, I can't believe that's exactly what she was thinking about. And I kind of saw it, but because I didn't know what NPD was at that time, I couldn't put my finger on that's what actually happened. But now I know for sure that she bought that bed as a mental manipulation. So I just wanted to drop that on y'all real quick and just let y'all know that, you know, every gift that somebody gives you ain't a good gift, and it don't come from a good place. So sometimes people will do things and gift you things to keep you under their thumb and to keep you in some type of control. So I just wanted to drop that on y'all real quick. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I'll come chop it up with y'all in a minute, man. I love y'all.